guys, my name's Ty. I am one of the co-founders of Tiny Leaf Microgreen farm. Quick background story, I've been a chef for the last 12 years working in the yachting industry and in restaurants ashore. And yeah man, just really love food and really been enjoying the alternate side of what I put onto a plate, and yeah, that's why we're here at Tiny Leaf Microgreen farm.
Okay, my name's Cass. I'm married to this wonderful person, Tyron. I'm the co-founder of Tiny Leaf Microgreen farm, and a little about me. I've been in yachting for 12 years. This is a chief stewardess on board yachts. I've been in the service industry for, over a decade. And yeah, kind of ended up here on Tiny Leaf with my husband.
Yeah. So guys, Tiny Leaf started as an idea. After we started venturing off yachts, we were looking for something to do land-based. We ended up buying a piece of property here in Fort Lauderdale and an additional lot of land next to the property that we purchased. And that gave us the inspiration to venture into the kind of agricultural micro-urban farming industry. And so yeah, we decided to grow some microgreens, and we started in the spare room of our house, and as we naturally progressed,
2 racks.
2 racks, yeah. We started with 2 racks.
2 racks in the house.
Yeah, we started with 2 racks in our house, and got a couple customers and a couple interested restaurants, and obviously a lot of chefs from the current industry we were working in at the time. And yeah man, this word spread, and we decided to scale the operation into a 20-foot container. So we moved the entire microgreen operation, because our house was a microgreen operation essentially.
It wasn't fun.
No,
it wasn't fun in the house.
No. So yeah, we decided
a lot of cleaning.
Invest in a reefer, a 20-foot refrigerated container. We did all the modifications ourselves, took the engine out the back and welded a big steel panel in there, put an HVAC system inside there, and we upgraded our little two rack humble operation into a 180 tray operation. And that was the next step to our farm. I'll let Cassie hit you up on the third kind of.
And then the big jump that we took was the 40-foot container. So we grew out of the 20-foot container fairly quickly, and then we purchased another container and put it in our yard.
Exactly.
And now we have the capacity to do about 300 trays a week, or 320?
320 trays a week.
320 a week.
Yeah,
it's still considered a small farm.
It is, yeah, it's still
is.
a small scale farm.
Definitely still a small scale farm. But yeah, we've kind of commercially set up this operation. We've got a full 1800 BTU HVAC AC system, and we've got a big Quest dehumidifier and air purification system, which really helps regulate kind of temp and humidity, which is the essential two control factors in growing some delicious little microgreens.
Our daily routine of the microgreen farm. So, actually our schedule's pretty relaxed. I feel like working for ourselves, that was the whole point, was try to create a schedule that felt a little more in control for us. Working on yachts, it was much more demanding. Our time was much more demanded of us. However, microgreens aren't easy. I don't want to sell that. So we work Monday through Friday, and our days usually start around 9, and we start with, I'd say, harvesting, watering. We water our outdoor garden, we package, we deliver. I mean, that's kind of the routine, and then midweek we do a plant. So that's pretty much how we run our week. It's kind of revolves around our delivery days. Our delivery days are Tuesdays and Fridays, so we harvest on Mondays and Thursdays. That's pretty much the schedule.
Yeah. So guys, quick little walkthrough on a seed to harvest to package and deliver. This will give you a quick idea of how we follow procedures in order to get some beautiful microgreens onto the end consumer's plates and into chef's hands to use at restaurants and on yachts and in country clubs. So we start out by a seed weigh up. So we will generally go through our crop list. We grow a particular cycle of seeds, and we're always changing varieties of seeds on a weekly basis. All our seeds are weighed specifically to the growing kind of environment and climate that we have down here in South Florida, and obviously in a controlled grow space and environment. Cassie's always chopping and changing our seed weigh up because yeah, I guess it's just trial and error really. Some crops dampen out, some crops are benefited if you're covering with vermiculite. We can kind of like either up or down the seed quantities in terms of the actual outcome of the product. So we use a specific tiny leaf soil mix here. Cass will quickly shoot you through our quantities of what we're doing with this.
Really?
Oh good, I got you. So we
By the way, the soil's a little heavy, so it's his job.
It is. Yeah. Well, soil's heavy. Cass has a broken back, so I'm in charge of being the human tumbler. So we use Pro HP, which is micro-rhizate soil, and we mix that with some 70-30 coconut coir and perlite. That just gives us some good aeration in our soil, and it's good for kind of a hydroponic setting. So we do a 50-50 split on that, and we mix both the soils nicely. We make sure we break down all those clumps and take out any excess stones or sticks that are kind of in the procedure of making those soils. Once we mixed up our soils, we line up our microgreen flats. We generally plant between 80 to 120 flats a week, depending on demand, and sometimes in our busy seasons we have to do 2 plants a week. So yeah, line up our trays. We'll stack in 2 liters of soil into every tray. We flatten out the whole surface of the soil, and then we'll use a nice stomp to get a nice even surface for our microgreen seeds and water.
So once we've prepped up our trays and added water to the trays, we would then lay down our seed. Different seeds require different things. Sometimes you're gonna just seed the top of the tray, moisten the soil with water, and you'll use a hydroperoxide, and we use hydroperoxide and Zyrtol, food grade, for sanitizing the seed before we end up stacking them and putting them in the farm. But other seeds may require soil on top, or they might require vermiculite on top. So there's different procedures that we would follow for each different seed. I mean, some of them would be in stacks with weight, and others would be in domes. It just really depends on what the seed requires.
Yeah, unfortunately, well, should I say fortunately, we've chosen to grow much wider variety because of the market that we sell to of crop varieties. So yeah, I think we're growing.
We grow fancy microgreens.
Yeah, we're growing about 26 varieties of micros, which is cool, you know, from our red vein sorrels to our Korean mint to our lemon balms, you know, all of those, yeah, beets, lipstick chards, golden beets. There's a good variety of greens that we grow, and like I said, there's different protocols for the planting procedures to get to the end result of the green. They don't all require the same work, so yeah, it's quite a tedious job, but we've managed to knuckle down and
learn them all. Yeah, all of them.
Every day's a school day, man. Every day's a school day here at Tiny Leaf. Cool, so another extra step or precautionary measure we take in microgreen growing, because it's quite a sterile environment in terms of sanitation. So yeah, just between me and Cass, from delivering from Miami to Palm Beach and having to harvest, package, label, deliver and clean trays, we still manage to go the extra mile, and we pressure wash all of our trays. We actually have some of our awesome mates that are always in town and around and helping out on the farm. Good buddy of ours, Maddie's, who's always here at Tiny Leaf. He's been an integral part of the growth of the business as well, and been such a great help, so we really appreciate having good friends in town that can help us out. But yeah, we generally pressure wash all our trays, and then we use food grade hydrogen peroxide, just a nice little 30% mixture, and make sure we sand our trays and dry them prior to planting our microgreens to our flats. So once we've planted all our different varieties of crops, we take them all into the germ space. So we have 2 racks at the end of our farm that we germinate majority of our seeds in. Like Cassie mentioned earlier, different seeds require different planting procedures, and therefore they all require different germination procedures. So we drop in all our brassicas into the farm, typically speaking, you know, an arugula, a broccoli, a kohlrabi, you know, a radish. All of those germ up between 2 to 5 days. So we constantly check our crops, make sure that we give them an initial great moistening or good moistening, so we don't have to disturb the crops in germination. And yeah, generally speaking, between 3 to 14 days is the kind of time frame where our crops will germinate on the racks, and then Cassie's going to talk you through the procedures of what happens next.
So when you're checking crops on the germination rack and moving them under light, you want to make, there's some protocol we follow. So you want to make sure that the crops, once they're moved, we rinse the bottom of the trays. The reason we do that is because when they're stacked, there's soil, there's seed, there's stuff stuck to the bottom of these trays, and you're putting them on the racks under lights with crops underneath, and generally you just want to keep your farm clean. So all of that is super important in maintaining a clean farm and keeping your crops healthy and not having any mold issues.
So once our microgreens have sat under light, obviously depending on time frame of crops, yeah, we start processing the greens to harvest and deliver to our chefs. So yeah, we'll typically get our orders out. So like Cassie mentioned earlier, we harvest on a Monday for a Tuesday delivery, and again on a Thursday for a Friday delivery. And then obviously any sort of yacht orders that spitball to us, we're quite flexible in terms of quickly harvesting last minute to make sure that our greens are nice and fresh. But yeah, quick synopsis, we bring our flats into our processing room. So that was our old grow space, which is now a 20-foot container that we've strictly dedicated to a nice sterile environment that's already chilled down. So the greens come from a cool farm straight into a cool processing room, so there's no break in the cold chain, which is quite important in microgreens. Also, one very important factor to add in terms of our harvesting, we always harvest a very dry microgreen, so there's no excess moisture in the actual microgreen containers, and that is guaranteed to give our product a 12 to 15 day shelf life. It's one of our vouchers to our customers. But yeah, quickly we we harvest into 4-ounce containers, which is essentially 32 ounce of a container space, which ends up being 4-ounce volume in the crop. So we'll harvest our greens up, nice cotyledon up for the most part, unless it's a salad mix, and they're beautifully presented to our chefs. And like you guys have seen as well, we mix up some beautiful mixes in our farm. We actually do a tiny leaf microgreen mix. We do a chef's mix, which kind of entails a lot of our specialty greens, and then we just do like a nice rainbow or a spicy mix. So nice little varieties of greens that we're always trying to play around with. But yeah, pretty easy to harvest up, and our end product is absolutely superb.
So the edible flowers part of our business, we started kind of by accident. We planted a bunch of edibles outside in some raised beds in our garden this winter, and we realized that they were super important and super popular for chefs. So it's been a very important thing for us to expand and learn more about growing edible flowers. We faced some challenges. We live in South Florida, and the flowers were doing fantastic all winter, but as soon as these summer months hit, we started seeing some issues with the growth of the flowers. Obviously it's very hot down here, very humid and very wet. So going forward into the winter season, we are looking at moving so much of our flower operation indoors, and we look forward to it.
Yeah, we're just doing a nice little ebb and flow. So we got big flood and drain tables that will sit on the top of our racks in our farm, and we've just planted over 260 seedlings. So expect to see some banging little violas coming out of that hydroponic section soon, baby. Quick side note, Cassie is an amazing florist. She actually spent 15 weeks up in New York at New York Flower School Academy, and yeah, she's kind of our master tiny leaf flower farmer, and it's one of her passions is to grow flowers.
Yes, thank you. Some challenges we face as a small microgreen business would be, number one, there's 2 of us. So we have to do everything. And running a farm is quite a lot of work. There's no doubt about that. I think people think that farming microgreens would be a simple thing to do, but it's not. It's not a simple thing to do, and it requires a lot of time and energy, attention. So there's that. But also we deal with the weather here in Florida. I mean, that's a challenge in itself. I spoke about it already with flowers, but you know, there's bugs, there's temperature, the climate here, it's humid here, so you face a lot of things just living here in this region.
For sure. So another challenge we face is educating our clientele, our chefs, about the quality of our product. You know, a lot of chefs in restaurants are looking to follow strict budgets on food costing and controlling kind of how much money they spend on a weekly basis just to, you know, make their business profitable. But yeah, I guess it's tough to compete with the big commercial growers because yeah, we obviously a small business, we're an urban microgreen farm, and we also have to factor in the cost of production and inflation. But I can guarantee you we grow a superior product, and our shelf life of our microgreens will surpass any commercial grow operation. 100% we vouch. So where do we see Tiny Leaf moving in the future? Yeah, obviously, naturally, as a small business operation, we want to scale so that we can reach a wider variety of clientele. Yeah, we deliver down to Miami, up to Palm Beach, and obviously locally here in Fort Lauderdale and up to Boca. But we'd like to grow our grow space and have more room to, you know, try out new varieties of microgreens and just have a more scaled operation to be able to sell more microgreens on a daily basis. So we're currently in the process of you know, deciding on where to scale the operation. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a bigger commercial space, so stay tuned and we will keep you updated on our social medias, and you will have live updates on our website. So
Follow us.
Follow us, please. Subscribe, like, add.
So something really, really great that Tiny Leaf has given me personally is, well, probably you as well.
Yeah.
It's given us access to a community of people that I didn't really have access to before. It's not because I couldn't get access to them, it's that I didn't know that they existed. And there are just incredible small-scale farms all over South Florida. I didn't realize how much agriculture was actually happening here all over our state, in particularly South Florida. We have tons of farmland in Davie and also in Homestead, which is sort of under pressure, and I think it's important that more people know where their food comes from. I think that's a common thing all around the world right now, or at least in America, is that people know where their food comes from, and people are more interested in the people that are growing their food and getting children involved in agricultural learning. So I hope someday with Tiny Leaf's expansion that we could open up our farm to educating and being involved more with our community.
Boom. Support your local farmers. So my perspective on the future of the food industry is that we need more small, urban, local, kind of family-run operations that can specialize in heirloom seeds and kind of avoid the movement towards monocrop agricultural systems. I think it's super important that we have a bigger uptake in interest in the agriculture industry, especially for kids coming out of school and for people in university and college. I think agro should be a great, or a much more focused topic for the future of our world, really. You know, we populate at a rapid rate and we don't have the space to grow amazing food or healthy organic produce for feeding our kids and feeding our families and providing the right nutrients for the future generations that we are kind of pushing through this glorious planet. So yeah, I just feel like, you know, grow your own food, you know, pick up some soil, just get in touch with where your food comes from, really.
Just try it.
Yeah.
Just try it.
Really easy. Yeah, pick up a garden fork, dig out a garden bed, prep your soil and plant some seeds, man. That's where we should all be going. Get
Grow
some
some
tomatoes going, baby. Okay guys, now that you've seen Tiny Leaf Microgreen Farm, thanks for coming. We enjoyed giving you guys the tour. Okay, get out of here now.